to the case here. So I wanted to come on the live and talk to you guys a little bit about certain things that I've been thinking about this whole time about the case, and one of them was that they need to add charges as to kidnapping, right? Because the homeboy, what I'm talking about David and the case of Celeste Rivas. Let me see. Okay, I got my screen. So the case of Celeste Rivas, and people are calling her Celeste, but her name's Celeste Rivas. And I want to know what's going on with the family, man. I want to know. I mean, what happened? Some people are saying that maybe they don't. Maybe immigrants. Maybe that's why they didn't want to come alive, and maybe they don't want to jeopardize, or they don't have papers. I don't know, because I was kind of like, what does that got to do? And probably you guys are saying, Ray, what does that got to do with the case, right? Like, Ray, you're one of those. The reason why I'm saying this is because I was trying to think why they didn't come on, step up, right? If I'm the brother, if I'm whatever family, uncle, I would have called authorities, and it's like, hey man, they got my granddaughter or my niece, they kidnapped her. Because this once the little girl was back at Homeboy's spot at David's house, and she's in there. She's practically kidnapped. You know what I mean? And she's underage. If his music any good, at least. You know what? I listened to one of the homicide romantic, something like that. It sounds like a modern. I will say it kind of like gives me a feel of a Morrissey, more like modern. It has that vibe. That kind of like depressing, feel good music. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but most likely we're scared to speak up, right, Della Dank? I mean, and that's what I'm thinking, and I hope I'm not coming off as like, oh, this guy, come on, man, you're talking about immigrants, and I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying because I've been thinking, like, why didn't they speak up? Why didn't they come, go to the cops and keep on pushing it? I would, man. I don't care. I'll be at the door outside Homeboy's door, and with the phone in my hand, calling the cops. Ice is so hot here for now, not even capping. Yeah, and it's sad, man. It's sad that they're doing ICE is out there, busting balls and getting people that are just trying to work, man. They're trying to make it seem like they're criminals. And then shout out to La Racita, man. And stay strong, man. Stay strong. But so the friend, now another thing that I think don't look on the whole chat that I've been thinking too. Where are the friends? Where are Celeste Rivas friends? Like, but I'm telling you, man, I've been thinking a lot, right? But I'm like, Ray, like she's only 13. Maybe she didn't have no friends. It's like, dude, at that age, with the computer, and all that, sure, they have friends. And for what we know, right, from the Reddit chats and the Reddit in other TikTok and all that, they were talking about the friends on the Discord, chat. They all knew. So these people are also too guilty, man. I'm sorry to say it, but if you were in those chats and she was okay, and but she was in hiding, man. No, that is messed up, because you should have sent her home, and especially knowing that she was a little girl, at that age, I know it's like that age where kids are like rebellious and they think they're like already old, like old enough to like, I can do whatever I want. But it's like, no, dude, like no. And so I want to know, man, what's up with the friends? Where are the friends? And this is for the young generation, for you guys to take this as an example of like, that you think you have friends and they're going to be there. I think especially at the young age, I was there, right? You feel like, oh, this is my friends, friends for life. And I'll always be there. And you don't understand, this is my best friend. And people change with time. And especially these times, Cloud is crazy, man. Wanted to get famous, wanted to what I mean, feel praised and all that. I understand sometimes being on the internet, as a content creator, sometimes it feels good that people are like messaging you and this and that. But also too, you got to understand that there's a difference between people online, and also too, you can't trust all your friends, And shout out to all my friends, my homegirls and my homies. Y'all know what's up. But at the same time, man, you always got to take care of yourself first. Was the singer making his videos that turned out too intimate in real life? They were pretty intense. Shout out to Sus Valentino. Hey y'all! Let me hit you with a Don DeMarco. Yo, Jezebel, how you doing? Let me give you a shout out, Jezebel. Welcome to the chat.
Hey y'all.
So she prayed she prayed her on Fortnite. Yeah, that's what I heard. And have you guys seen that picture of her where she's like super young, like a little? I mean, like she was a chamaquita, right? But she looks so little, man. Like she was still little. Like maybe she grew up and maybe maybe she could have been taller or whatever. Facial features probably changed, but still that's a little girl, man. And like I've been saying in my previous videos, if you guys haven't seen it, man. This guy, didn't get no love. And he never got love, from chicks, and never got the attention. And then, he gets famous. This little girl's jockeying him. The little girl is like, starstruck, and he feels like, oh wow, finally somebody cares for me. And it's insane. It's insane. If this guy really cared for her, he should have returned her back home. Be like, hey man, you need to get your ass back home and be a good role model. That's what he needed to be. Let's play this video, and we're doing a reaction to 5 creepy new details in dismembered teen found in David's Tesla case. So people are saying like, how come he's not arrested? How come the cops haven't done anything or nothing? We know what's up, man. We know that it takes a while, but for sure there's something going on, something big. I think this is more than just arresting him for Celeste Rivas. I think there's more crazy stuff, and we're not even ready for it. I'm myself included. I don't think I am ready for what's coming, And I think this week they are gonna drop the news, but they can't arrest him, right, or take him to jail right now because he's not proven guilty, right? Right now he's not even a suspect for what I hear. So, and for what I seen whenever like they name them like they're not suspects or they're non-suspects, it means like they're kind of like holding them, they don't want to like name him a suspect because either they don't want him to run away or maybe they got something big. So innocent till proven, right? But I think everybody right now at this point really hates this person. So let me see, look it up. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah. Bro, man, shout out to Deladank. Stockholm Syndrome, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It is crazy, right? It is crazy. No, you broke it down. Deladank, that's it. For the people that are asking, even myself, right? Why was she there? Stockholm Syndrome. Why did she go back? Stockholm Syndrome. That is, whoa. All right, let's check out this video. All right, here we go.
The investigation into singer David has intensified after the body of a teenager was discovered in a Tesla that has been linked to him. From canceled tours to social media revelations, new developments are raising serious questions about their supposed relationship and the ongoing probe. We are going to break down the latest developments in this case and what law enforcement is focused.
Also, too, they're waiting for the cameras. Remember those Teslas have multiple cameras for what I hear. So, man, it hit really close. It hit town. It hit your town, man. Man, I bet everybody must be like just, like freaked out or just out of it, right? So, but also, too, guys, ladies and gents, don't forget there's the Tesla cameras. So, dude, when they give us the news, because they seen who did it, they seen who did this, and what's crazy is that they drove the car multiple times. Don't forget that. Don't forget that, guys.
Focusing on next with a retired detective. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. The investigation into Houston-born singer David, D4VD, real name David Anthony Burke, continues to widen after the body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found decomposed in a Tesla reportedly registered to him. Authorities are still working to determine exactly what happened here, but the fallout is growing. There's an alleged former teacher of Celeste even coming forward with troubling claims about her connection to the singer, and we're going to get there. But first...
My bad, I was on mute. The whole case is just confusing. Yeah, it is.
We got to look back at what we know when this case first broke. We covered it here on Sidebar, but on September 8th, LAPD officers responded to Hollywood Tow on Mansfield Avenue. And this is after workers reported a foul odor coming from a car. That car was a Tesla Cybertruck with Texas plates registered to David. It had been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills and towed. Inside the front trunk, authorities discovered dismembered human remains wrapped in a bag. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner identified the body as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who had been missing missing from Riverside County since April of 2024. According to reporting from KTLA, the Cybertruck had been there for about 5 days. The medical examiner's office said that Celeste's body was badly decomposed and appeared to have been in the vehicle for an extended period of time. Now, Celeste's cause of death.
Man, and it was crazy. Like those days, remember the weather was super hot, man. It was like there was a couple of days that it was like 100.
Death was listed as deferred, but around the time that she went missing in 2024, there were rumors that circulated that David was dating a teen girl named Celeste. This is according to screen captures of messages that were posted in 2023 in chat rooms, namely Discord. Now, Celeste,
this is what I was telling you guys, man. People knew, her friends knew, and they let her down, man. Instead of them going and telling her like, hey, go back home, like,
it just turned 15 the day before her body was found, was remembered by family as a wonderful daughter, sister, cousin, and friend. Her brother previously told NBC Los Angeles that she disappeared after leaving the family home to see a movie with David. Reports also noted a striking detail, that Celeste had a tattoo on her finger reading "shh," and multiple photos showed David with a nearly identical tattoo on his hand. Now, in the past week, both of David's remaining U.S. tour dates, San Francisco and Los Angeles, were canceled, along with at least 9 European shows that were listed on Ticketmaster, including an October 1st stop in Norway, a scheduled Grammy Museum.
Oh, yeah, I saw the teacher, too. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I'm going to speed it up so that way we get to the whole information. I know that he's giving a little bit of a context here, but most people know, you know, the whole, not the whole story, but what happened, right, with the test.
Game appearance in Los Angeles was also pulled from the venue's website. His label, Interscope, later told TMZ that all promotion for David, including his deluxe album release, was being paused. And David, by the way, was also the face of a new collaboration between Hollister and Crocs. But he was scrubbed from the campaign just days after it was launched, according to the New York Post. Now, a spokesperson previously told NBC News that David was cooperating with authorities, but to be clear, there's no formal arrest.
This is the part that everybody's saying, and this is the part where, like, I kind of like step back a little bit, and it's kind of like recycled information, right? It's like everybody's repeating the same things, and everybody was saying like the same, like, oh yeah, but he's cooperating with the cops. It's like, well, there's no proof that he was, and I don't know where people got this from, and I don't think he was cooperating. Maybe the lawyer was kind of like, hey man, you know, we'll talk to you guys, but no, there's no proof.
Now, investigators are digging deeper into this case. We are too, and for that, I want to bring on a special guest. I want to bring in Matthew Irvine, who's a retired detective and law enforcement instructor. Thank you so much for coming here on Sidebar. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Jesse.
So based on your experience, how do police, by the way, when they're dealing with, I wonder if this is a big issue in LA, but how do police deal with prioritizing cases when you have a celebrity, a famous person linked in some way to a crime? How do they deal with that?
Well, you know, ideally, there really shouldn't be any distinction based on the fame or wealth of the person implicated in a crime, whether they be the accused or the victim. In reality, there are always pressures that are brought to bear on investigators, be it from within their agency or from the media or the public. And the challenge for the investigator is to remember, as Harry Bosch says, everybody counts or nobody counts.
This is the first Bosch reference we've ever gotten on Sidebar, and you named it. Okay, when you're dealing with a body that's as decomposed as this, how do authorities analyze that evidence? How do they handle that evidence? And the idea that this body was severely decomposed, what does that tell you?
Well, it sounds like from the reporting we've heard so far, and again, I don't know anything about this case other than what's been publicly reported. It sounds like poor Celeste was likely in the front trunk of that vehicle for several weeks before her body was discovered. And there's even been reporting that she was dismembered. That certainly presents a challenge for the medical examiner and for investigators in terms of determining time and cause of death. Also raises some questions in terms of why the killer reportedly chose to dismember.
Yeah, that's another thing I've been thinking. Like, this is not like a regular murder, right? I mean, when they say that it depends what they do, but why dismember, right? Like, that sounds kind of like a serial killer type of stuff. That's why I was telling you guys, like, we are gonna get more surprises. You know what I mean? We're gonna get like some crazy surprise because I mean, we can't say. I know people are saying that he's guilty. You know, take him to jail and
lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
But he's, you know, to prove it, right? To prove it. And maybe what about if they're framing him? What about if supposedly, according to the news, he let other people drive that car when he was not around. So could he got in frame? But then at the same time, he's tripping people out because he's online on Fortnite and on Discord, you know, playing video games, chatting and all that for what I'm hearing. So, but
we've been desensitized to not the horrifier.
Right. That's another thing. Like, we're reacting like I mean, it doesn't hit us as much. It doesn't hit us as much. This also too reminds me of the Devani Escobar case in Mexico where they found her body and it was also too decomposed and because it had like days there and that's another crazy case right there.
This young woman. Sometimes the killer will dismember their victim because if they do that and disperse the remains over some space, and particularly if certain body parts aren't found, it makes it harder to identify the victim. Now, people that kill strangers don't usually need to worry about the victim being identified because there's nothing that connects to them. So the only time the identity of the victim is a problem for the killer is if there's some known relationship.
Look, I'm going to say this. I cover crazy stories all day, and I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes it makes me think about myself, my loved ones, family. If something should happen, would my family still be able to cover the big expenses like the mortgage, utilities, the day-to-day bills? Look, I know life insurance, that's not.
But if this guy did that, dismember the body, so it would be difficult for it to be recognized or people or authorities. It wouldn't be easy for them to know who it was. This guy was sloppy because they could find the hand with the tattoo, right? And man, Dylan and Chad, you guys are right, man. We're starting to get so desensitized that we're starting to get too desensitized that we're talking about this well, he could have done this, he could have done that. This kind is sickening, man. We live in crazy times. We live evil times.
It's an evil world we live in.
Not something you want to be thinking about, but the truth is, life is hard to predict, and it's important to this is an online house, and some policies would have to have the means and the. Get your free quote at ethos.com/sidebar. That's ethos.com/sidebar. Also,
real quick, I'm going to be talking over the video, so if you guys want to go check it out, you guys can go ahead and check it out. Law and Crime, 5 creepy new details, and dismember. So you guys can find it. The channel is Law and Crime. You guys can go watch it after this. So, because I know a lot of people come in, we're getting a lot of new people. And some are like, hey, man, you're talking too much. It's like I'm doing commentary on it, so that's what it is, all right? And also to disclaimer, everything we're saying is alleged, and it's also too found on the news and all that. So, and if you're not 18 and over, if you are under 18, turn off the computer and go to sleep. And if you're 18 and over, welcome to the channel. Hit the like button. Yeah.
So, Matthew, someone would have to have the means and the opportunity to dispose of a body in this fashion and be able to deposit the body in this car. That, I wonder, is that something investigators are looking into? How can someone have the ability to do something like this? Who can have the means, the opportunity to do that, right?
Well, we have to kind of keep the Occam's razor principle in mind. I mean, this vehicle was registered to David Burke. It was apparently towed from across the street from a home that he was renting. So the simplest theory would be that this crime happened in or near the vehicle and likely by David or somebody close to him with access to the vehicle. That said, as an investigator, we have to keep in mind until the investigation is complete and all the facts are in that we don't know yet all the facts. We need to think about what we don't yet know. And as an investigator, while you want to trust your intuition and the wisdom of your experience and your common sense, we have to remember that just because you did 100 of these cases and it always turned out this way and the answer was X, in this case, the answer could still be Y. So we have to keep an open mind. But certainly there's a lot of publicly available information that seems to point to the involvement of David Burke in the death of this child.
Yeah, I don't want to make assumptions because I know, like you said, we watch so many cases that you're like kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of know, or sounds like this, but this is crazy beyond.
By the way,
crazy.
What causes decomposition and how quickly does it happen?
Weather.
Decomposition is a natural process once the person is no longer alive, and it's affected by a lot of factors, including temperature and whether the body is protected in some way. In this case, in the front trunk of a vehicle in Los Angeles in the late summer, it's likely that decomposition would happen very rapidly.
I want to get into some of the key updates in this case from the last time we spoke. So, according to Forbes and ABC News, police executed a search warrant at a Hollywood Hills home on September 18th where David had been staying. They seized a computer, they seized other items of evidence. Sources told the Los Angeles Times that David had been renting the home, which the LAPD confirmed to Forbes was on Doheny Place. That's not far from where the Tesla was reportedly abandoned. And Matthew, actually, let's just start there. What does a search like that tell us about where investigators are focusing? How significant is it that they removed electronics and other materials from this property? What does this tell you?
Well, in order to get a search warrant, you need to be able to articulate to a judge that you have probable cause to believe crime has been committed and that evidence of that crime is going to be found in the place that you intend to search. So just because you search somebody's residence or vehicle or other property doesn't necessarily mean that that person is your suspect in the crime. It simply means that that place is likely to have evidence related to the crime. So certainly they had to meet that legal standard in order to execute the search warrant. And I'm sure that in addition to looking for physical evidence, forensic evidence within the residence, as you said, they are seizing electronic evidence. And that's going to be critical in this case. I mean, just from what's already been reported publicly, there seems to be a lot of online communication between people who at least appear to be David and Celeste, going back maybe as far as 2022 when she was 11 or 12 years old. There's also a lot of communication, again, just being posted online between David and other parties that appear to have some knowledge, at least of his relationship with Celeste. So the timeline is going to be really important here. And the electronic.
They're saying that this guy allegedly, right? Alleged, but according to what they're saying, the chats and then Reddit, and Facebook groups, they're saying that this guy also too. He was chatting to with other minors, right? That he got the way he met Celeste was, the way he met these younger people that they're saying that he got into this Fortnite chat for like little kids. So this is alleged, right? But if there's other people and there's more victims, this is gonna blow up more.
Electronic record is going to be an important part of that timeline.
100%. And by the way, we also have to mention that while this was going on, deputies in Houston, they also confirmed to Click 2 Houston that they responded twice last week to David's Cypress, Texas home after security alarms were triggered. Now, the property records tie the house to a trust that resembles the name of his debut album, Petals to Thorns. There's no search warrants that have been executed there, which is interesting because, Matthew, how would law enforcement typically treat these kinds of security alerts in an ongoing investigation when you're talking about a different property? Are you surprised that property hasn't been searched yet?
Well, that's the first I'm hearing of this, but it's interesting to think that somebody may have tried to make entry to that property. That could be an effort by somebody to.
Oh, I can see people trying to like get in there, man. I mean, with the case of the Emmanuel Haro, do you guys remember? Rest in peace, the little kid. Emmanuel Haro, right? People were breaking into the parents' house or into the house, and it was so crazy that people were breaking into the house and giving tours, charging people tours to take them around the property. So I wouldn't doubt if people are going over there trying to break in, but this house, I mean, this area is like there's a lot of like rich people and all that. So shout out to Deladank, man. Saying that he went and paid the respects. Thank you for doing that. That is really, really, really nice and kind of you, man. That is dope. Let me hit you with a done, DeMarco. There you go. Let's keep on watching this. I'm gonna come and check out the chat in a little bit. Meanwhile, we're gonna go over to the video. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and if you can give this a share, that will be amazing.
Evidence that was there. That's the obvious connection to this Los Angeles-based investigation. As to search warrants, again, officer or detective needs to be able to articulate probable cause to a judge that there is evidence of a crime on those premises, and apparently at this point they don't feel like they've got that.
Now, I want your perspective on this too. So TMZ obtained messages from a Discord moderator that was tied to David's online community. And the administrator insisted that they believed Celeste to be 18 or 19 years old and denied knowing that she was a missing, 15-year-old. Part of the message that was obtained by TMZ reads, "We, the Discord and Twitch staff teams, want to clarify what we knew and didn't know regarding Celeste. We were not aware of her true age or that she was a missing person. We also did not have any contact with her outside of what was made public. From what was shared in David's Twitch streams and from her role in the server, we understood her to be around 18 to 19. Now, it's not clear which administrator made this statement, but Matthew, that's interesting, right?
Interesting.
It is interesting, but I don't really know how relevant it is in terms of this criminal investigation. What's important is what David knew. And all the publicly available information appears to show that he knew her age, that he first communicated with her when she was a middle schooler, again, possibly 12 or 11 years old, and that when she left home with him in the first part of last year, she was only 13. And as you know, we've been talking about her a lot as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And as you said, it's important to remember she never lived to see her 15th birthday. Right. She was found in the front trunk of that car the day after she.
God bless her soul. She never. Yeah, this guy's right, man. She never made it to her 15th birthday. Right. She lost her life when she was 14. They found her the day after her birthday, for what I hear. Sad, man. No, dude, you're barely even, you're not even starting to live life, right? I think that age, well, at least to me, right, from like your early teens to like 18, 19, or even, from junior high, right? Junior high to high school, college, beginning of college. Those years are beautiful, man. Those years are like the years that you always look back and and you remember, right? Because you're still pure and you're going into a stage of opening your eyes and seeing life for what it is, and it's a magical, beautiful time, and she did not get to fully experience that. She didn't get to experience it at all because the world that she lived, it was isolated, and it's tragic.
Should have turned 15. So this really is a child, and throughout her relationship with David, whatever it was, she was unquestionably a child.
The child,
and that's the point, because TMZ reports that there is this newly.
Man, shout out to this guy, man. Thank you for saying it, because they were trying to portray her as her being a woman. I'm like, man, are these guys smoking or what?
Surfaced video that apparently shows David and Celeste together on a live stream interacting with fans, and in the clip, Celeste can be heard prompting David to respond to a comment. That video was recorded in January of 2024. You go back to that timeline, Matthew, of when they said she went missing. Is that video going to be key for investigators?
Absolutely. And that's just one of many images, moving and still, that have been popping up all over social media in the last couple of weeks. There seems to be a really strong digital footprint showing them in various locations, backstage at his concerts, doing his live stream, and various still images taken in various places, going back at least to early 2024. And again, as you said, that was several months before she left home, and while she was still very much a 13-year-old middle school kid.
Hey, man, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. And I'm going to get me a coffee for this Friday. Once again, thank you so much. Let me hit you with a Don DeMarco, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's keep on.
Well, I tell you what, it's not just investigators looking into this. There have been a lot of online sleuths that have been digging into David's posts on social media as well as his songs to see if there's any clue about what might have happened here. There's an unreleased song that was leaked last week. It's reportedly called Celeste_Demo on Finn, as in,
This one is creepy. This is the previous, the leaked one, right? Because nowadays you don't, they say the leaked song, but you never know, man. Maybe he even released it, But the lyrics, hopefully they play the lyrics.
Finished. This is according to KTLA and TMZ. And in David's biggest song, called Romantic Homicide, David sings, "In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true." We all know whether or not lyrics will play a role in a criminal case is a controversial and constitutional issue as well. Just putting that to the side, though. In a 2022 interview, Forbes reports that Burke had said that those lyrics are figurative, saying, "I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died." Online sleuths have also uncovered a TikTok video made by another user, but it was apparently reposted by David, where the person in the video is chopping up chicken, and words on the screen read, "Me if I see her talk with other dudes." So David's label, Interscope Records, along with UMG, Sony Music Publishing, Wasserman, they have paused all promotional activities around his upcoming deluxe album and his career overall, basically. His last Instagram post celebrates the release of the deluxe version of his album, Withered, which was supposed to come out on September 19th. Forbes reported it hasn't appeared on streaming services. Matthew, a few things here. First of all, the lyrics, I mentioned, I've talked about cases involving musicians and criminal cases and whether or not the lyrics can be introduced into evidence as intent, or it shows their knowledge or what have you. But do you think that there's something of value there, or are people maybe reading into it too much?
I think there's certainly something of value. I mean, we need to be careful in treating song lyrics as autobiographical or confessional. Johnny Cash saying that he shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. And nobody thinks Johnny Cash killed anybody. But as you said, it's the totality of what he is putting out there, not just the lyrics to Celeste or Romantic Homicide, but the posts of chopping chicken. There's another post that had to do with jealous rage when he finds out she's had prior relationships. He created a sort of alter ego for his latest album and tour called Itami, who is pictured in a blood-spattered shirt. And David Burke described him in an interview as his sort of evil, homicidal alter ego. Supposedly there's a video for Romantic Homicide that shows Itami murdering a girl. So is it proof of anything? No. But it's certainly information, and certainly part of the total picture that investigators and prosecutors are going to have to look at.
Yeah, that's I mean, and in this case, there will be like a lot of artists, right, that will be blaming for stuff. This is the part where I kind of relate his music kind of like to Morrissey in a way, because Morrissey's music, it's a little, like I'm not a good singer, but that song that says if a double-decker bus crashes into us, to die by your side is such a beautiful thing to die, or something like that. If you listen to it with that like creepy kind of like mentality, then you're gonna be like, okay,
why do you think there's been a full stop pause on his career? Is it because, hey, listen, from a PR perspective, from an optics point of view, as this investigation's going on, we as a business, we can't continue to promote his music, we can't have any role in this whatsoever. We want to distance ourselves. We want to let this cool off. Or does it signal to you that there is something going on in the investigation, that there is a development, that something is about?
Oh man, I feel you. It's hard. It's hard not to get invested in this case, man. Especially you, man. You live in the area. I mean, it is. I mean, it doesn't matter, what you do, where you go. You're gonna be probably the neighborhood. Everybody's speaking about it, right? In your area and all that.
About to happen. It would help in the sense now you know where he is, and if you need to further question him, he's not going on tour.
Absolutely. He's not leaving the U.S. As to the sort of business decisions, I mean, he right now looks like somebody who's in a lot of trouble. All the available information right now seems to point to him. I can't imagine any publicity conscious business wanting to continue an association with him or wanting to promote him at this time. That, though, is a different calculus than is he guilty of homicide, and can that be proven beyond a reasonable doubt? So there's the optics right now, which seem to point very strongly to his guilt. That may yet prove to be the case, but we're still a long way off from, even at this point, apparently probable cause to arrest, much less guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
We got to talk about this next development. It's pretty wild, okay? A Southern California teacher who is, by the way, not yet been named by law enforcement.
Oh, this is the video you guys were talking about earlier, right?
Revealed, or apparently revealed in a TikTok video, that Celeste had once been his student at Lakeland Village Middle School. In that video, which was recorded by a student in his class, he can be heard recounting that Celeste allegedly told other students that she met David online, again, when she was 13 years old, ran away with him, was eventually found by police in Hollywood, and then disappeared again in 2024, May of 2024.
This is the part that I was telling you guys, man. And she disappeared once, and then she disappeared again, and she was at the house. And then where was the family? The family didn't do anything. If the family wanted, they and their friends, they could have gone outside the house, called the cops, and be like, hey man, this guy's got my daughter kidnapped. She's a little child, 13 years old, 12 years old. I need to get her back home safe. But nobody went the second time. There was nobody accused them that we know of. Obviously, nobody did it, right? Because she was still there. But let's see this video, and then for the video that they're going to talk about right now, the teacher, he might mention it, but in case he did, they don't mention it. This video, because people were pissed off at the teacher. They're like, "Oh, he just wants clout and this and that." But actually, this video was not recorded after they found Celeste Rivas' body. This video, the teacher was talking, and the student recorded it. But this was like back in April, something like that. They might say it. So. He was not cloud chasing. I even thought a little bit there for a second. I was like, man, why is he but we're easy and fast to judge, right?
And the teacher said that he even spoke with students at the time who told them that she had been in contact with David. TMZ says they spoke with this teacher who told them that he shared the story with his class as a cautionary tale about the dangers of social media. Mm-hmm. Matthew, given this teacher's account or alleged account of Celeste, running away, her interactions with David,
they did that, man. Okay, maybe I'm being too harsh on the family, but I think just like anyone else, right? It kind of this whole case, pisses you off, right? And it frustrates you. So my apologies to the family and friends.
The challenges that this type of information may present for investigators, how seriously do law enforcement agencies weigh this kind of statement?
So, a video taken by a student of a middle school teacher in his classroom is not in itself proof of anything. It's information. It's not evidence. Question is, can this teacher's account be corroborated in other ways? And again, a lot of what's coming out now is just coming out on social media. And sometimes it's multiple levels of hearsay, somebody posting on TikTok, something that they...
Yeah. Shout out to Jessica. Yeah, that's the way it sounded. And man, I'm glad this teacher did that. And I'm glad, the student recorded him. Because at the same time, it's the type of video, you want to share with not only students in the younger generation, but also to parents, because parents are too naive, right? In this case, the family knew she had a boyfriend, right? Celeste had a boyfriend, but they never asked how old is this guy, or I don't know if they did. But you got to be involved in your kid's life, man. Me and myself, my kids, my daughter, whatever, son, it doesn't matter. If they're at that age, no, man. I understand now my parents, how they were strict and all, and even myself, I wasn't like wilding like that, right? That I'll go disappear. But at the same time, I don't know what Celeste was going through, and I'm not accusing the family of putting her through anything, because at that age we start to think like we're mature, we don't need our parents, and we can do it, we're thinking, we're smart now.
They're screenshotting off of Reddit or Discord, but it seems like the family is also telling authorities that indeed Celeste left home initially in April of 2024. That's when that missing poster was created. It describes her as leaving home, last seen wearing Hello Kitty.
2010. She was born in 2010, man. To me, it feels like 2010. It feels like a couple of years, man. 5 years, But no, it was like, man, 6 years ago was the pandemic. 5 years ago, right?
The sandals, that she came back for about a month or so, and that she left again in May, and that she was last seen by the family going someplace with David. So if that is indeed what the family is saying, as has been reported, that would jive exactly with what this teacher is alleging. And that is useful information for authorities when it's not just alleged, but also corroborated.
And the fact that this information surfaced on social media, does that affect how investigators handle it?
It's funny, trying to educate myself about this case, I realize that most of the up-to-date and detailed reporting is on social media, on Reddit, on Discord, on TikTok, on Instagram. And that is a challenge for investigators because these are new media formats, quite frankly. A lot of robbery homicide detectives are middle-aged people like myself who aren't really savvy in these newer forms of media. So I would absolutely hope that there is attached to this investigation somebody who is a lot more social media savvy and probably, frankly, a whole lot younger than me, because that's really what this investigation is going to have to include in order to really stay on top of all the leads.
Yeah. And trying to corroborate that story would be interesting, too. Could the TikTok post itself be treated as potential evidence? Is it just more of a lead that they then follow? What do you think?
It's all potentially evidence. Again, the question is, can it be verified? Can it be corroborated? There's a whole lot of stuff out there. Like I said, some of it is second and even third hand. It's TikTokers reposting things from Discord or things from Reddit. And so all of that is not inherently all that
Yeah, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Big shout out to you. Appreciate it.
reliable. But if it matches what Celeste's family shares, what Celeste's friends are able to corroborate, what David's digital footprint informs them of, what the forensic evidence shows, now you're starting to put together a case.
Now here's the point. Through all of this, Celeste's family is left grieving. In a message that was posted alongside a GoFundMe campaign, the Rivas Hernandez family wrote, "As many of you know, Celeste Rivas Hernandez has been identified as the body found last week. She was a beloved daughter, sister, cousin, and friend. Her family is heartbroken and devastated by this tragic loss. They are seeking help to lay her body to rest. Any funds you are able to donate are greatly appreciated." Matthew, do you think an arrest is imminent?
I gotta get that link and post it on the description. If you guys can remind me, I'll put it right after this live stream. If not, just drop a comment and I won't forget. But doing this quick live stream just in case, I would like to at least help the family like that and post the link and share it throughout the live streams and videos that I cover the case. Thank you guys. Let's keep on watching.
Here, I mean, we started this case off by there was a question of whether or not they'd be even able to identify the human remains. It came from the tattoo. They were able to ultimately identify this body as belonging as that of Celeste. Do you think that there's going to be an arrest soon?
I can't speak to the timeline of an arrest. I would say this, that the men and women in LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division are the best of the best at what they do. They're handpicked from an agency of 9,000 or so officers. In terms of the urgency to make an arrest, is there a public safety risk here? There doesn't appear to be. Is there a flight risk here? Apparently not. As you said, they know where he is, and he's not going to be able to go anywhere. So the caution would seem to be the best course of action here. This is a case that you want to put together rock solid, bulletproof, before you make an arrest. And I imagine that's what the folks in Robbery Homicide are doing. I also wanted to thank you for saying what you did about the Rivas Hernandez family, because we are, as a society, fascinated with true crime, and that's understandable. They're often fascinating cases, but we're only able to tell these stories. We only hear these stories because, as you said, somebody has been terribly harmed, and the people that love them are grieving. And so we need to keep that in mind and not aggrandize or mythologize the people that do this harm, but instead keep our focus on.
I think he's guilty, And I was listening to radio. I know because I listen to from radio to watch TV to whatever I found on the internet and Reddit, and to try to find as much information as I can. But they're saying that if he's not, even if he's not guilty of unaliving her, there's a lot of charges that they got on this guy. So, but just like everybody else, man, we think he did it. You know what I mean? Or if there was more people involved, he was part of it. Let me know what you guys think, man. Let me know. Maybe you guys are saying, no, Ray, why would you doubt it? No, I don't doubt it. I'm just kind of giving you guys my point of view, my 2 cents, so to say.
On victims and people that love them.
I appreciate that. This is a tragedy. This is a real loss. They were experiencing it each and every day. And let me tell you, as the investigation continues, and if there's an arrest, the legal process begins, that pain only gets worse because now they have to live through it and they have to learn more details about the crime. And that's really, really tough. But at the same point, we're trying to amplify it. If people have information, know something, that's what investigators need at this point. And even like we talk about something like the teacher, will that play into evidence? Will that be a factor? Will that be part of the investigation? We shall see. Matthew Irvine, thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. I loved having you on. We'll make sure to have you back.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being on.
And that's
There you guys have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was once again, 5 creepy new details in dismembered teen found in David's Tesla. You can find that at a Law and Crime network channel. Shout out to them. And so let me read the chat, man. Let me read the chat, and because I really want to know what you guys were saying, and at the same time, it is important, you know. So. I saw chat. Shout out to Jezebel and Deladank, Lupe, Thunder Loco, and the whole chat. I know a lot of people, just like myself, right? I go to live streams and there's times that I want to like drop a comment. There's times that I'm just in the background. So shout out to the people that are in the background. You know, I'm not mad at you. Sometimes, you know, I want to just sit back and chill. So, but let me know where you're watching from so I can give you a shout out, and from Activated Late and myself to you guys. And okay, what it was according to her brother? Let me see. Boom, boom. Okay, boom. Okay. Oh, I can't highlight the chat from here. But from here, I can look at. Okay. Can't even focus. Okay. Okay. It says can't even focus on the homework. I understand, man. You know, just gotta be strong. Yeah. What is being said on your side of town, the Ladank? I'm gonna go live on Friday, so hopefully, I'll have the phone line open, or I'll try to have the panel open. I think maybe have the panel open, right, for people, so people can come on the panel and give their 2 cents. The teacher sounded like he was schooling the students. Yeah, he was doing something good. He actually did something good, and also to the person that recorded that, because these are the type of cases, man. If your kids or cousins, little sisters don't want to listen to, these are the kind of cases that you show to them. You talk about that, you know, share and be like, hey, man, you know, I know you're smart, you know, and but you got to be careful because this is going on. And once again, shout out to Della Dang, because he mentioned, you know, that this is all part of the Stockholm syndrome, and that's exactly what it is. You know, that's what she was back. She felt the Stockholm syndrome, right? That was in man, I forgot, was it Norway or it was somewhere in Europe, right? There was a bank robbery, and at the end, the bank robber, he had everybody kidnapped, and at the end, even the people that was kidnapped and the people from the bank ended up protecting the bank robber, because they ended up feeling bad for him. So it was kind of like, instead of like at the end seeing the bank robber as a bad person, they were seeing him as the victim, and maybe Celeste was seeing him as feeling bad for him, right? They identify, maybe, you know, this guy was like so depressed, his music and all that he there we go. Okay, I got the chat here. Boom, there we go. All right. So she started defending him. You know, it got to the point where she was like, okay, I understand you, and sometimes we can be like that. There's David's suspect number 1 in my book. Boom. I agree with that based on the current evidence. Number 2 suspects, David's and team. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. It was Jezebel's message earlier that it said that, you know, the team maybe had something to do, right? The label, my favorite artists always end up dead or criminals. Oh, that ain't cool, man. Shout out to Mason. What's up, Mason, man? Let me hit you with this. There's a picture of a wig with that Celeste was wearing when she was 9 or 10. What the, really? Then he was wearing it like 18, 19. Man, jeez, man, that's crazy. I'm on Instagram, King Activate. If you guys want to follow me there, and you guys can send me the pictures there. That's King Activate, and then there's the Activate LA Instagram too. And I want to see those pictures, but that is freaky, man. This guy wearing the wig too. He was hella part of it. If he didn't, but I think he did, dude. Yeah. You know what's gonna be super crazy is if he did it. What's gonna be sick is that he did it and he's acting like whatever, right? Like right now, like, well, we don't know, right? He's behind closed doors. We were thinking he's okay and like whatever, when maybe right now, you know, all this is killing him from the inside because he knows what he did. I mean, was this? Some people are saying that this could have been a ritual. Could be, man. Could be. I mean, or it could be that he let himself in his lyrics, right? He manifested whatever he was talking about, and sometimes you got to be careful. You got to be careful because words are powerful. This generation is built different. Different though, they have no respect at all. A lot of them play the part for their parents, but are a whole different kid when they're not around. Exactly. He cried at one of the concerts. Yeah, this generation's different, man. There's that trend going on. 6'7", you know, and it's like people are asking like, what's 6'7"? I was gonna make a video of it. I'm not sure, just to let you know, for the older generation. 6'7" is kind of like it's just doesn't have any meaning. It's kind of like a little, they're calling it not brain fart, but it's just a word that you say, you know, with at the end of something. So people are kind of like, what's 6'7"? You know, 6'7". I think it comes like from a rapper for this character, and he has a song that says 6'7", and then a football player he did a TikTok and it went viral. Anyway, so it doesn't mean nothing. It's just kind of like just a word, like a phrase that you throw in. You know, kind of like dos tres in español, right? Dos tres, or kind of like that what is that pinche cumbión bien loco. You know how you just repeat the phrase just because. So, but anyway, let's get back to this over here, because the chat fam, you know, you guys are chatting and dropping, you know, some comments. It's more now, and they obviously could be better people, better parents. I think, yeah, man, there could be better parents, but what's messed up is that parents are not, they don't want to, you know, go to jail, or they're scared to reprimand their kids. They're but you got to understand, like they say, man, you are not your kid's friend. You know, you're your kid's friend once they turn 18. You know, before they're 18, you're their coach, their guide, you know, their protector. You can't be talking to your kid like you know, you're the friend, the buddy, you know, like hey, what's up, homie? Yay, bro. No, you know, and I see some parents, you know, talking to the kids with bro, you know, it's like, dude, like, no, you know, you got to show that they got to respect, and you got to show them boundaries. That's one of the first things, boundaries, you know. And life is hard, though. It's hard. I can't just be saying, you know, you got to teach your kids this, do that, or here's a book, a manual for you to be a great parent. Because me, myself, I'm still learning, you know, to be a parent. But for sure, man, for sure, you as a parent got to remember that you are not your kid's friend. You know, you're their protector. You know, you're there to coach them. You're there to take care of them. You're there to be for their wins. You're there for them for when their losses, you know, when they, you know, they get their heart broken, when they don't succeed at something. You're there for you to catch them, you know, to give them, you know, motivation and be there for them. But yeah, so says these kids will call the cops on you real quick. Follow us. Yeah, well, you know, I'll be honest, Dylan, and I mean, you know, knock on wood, because I don't want no kids, you know, being rebellious with me, but I'll probably will end up going to jail many times, man, for my kids. Because, you know, I think sometimes they need a wake-up call that, you know, if you go to jail, but at least, you know, like they know you're there. They know you're there. And you got to talk to your kids, too, about their friends. Because, like I was saying earlier, right, at that age 13 or your early teens, high school, junior high, you know, you think your friends, you know, oh, my friend, you know, it's like my brother. And we think the friends are always going to be there, and maybe they are, you know, like I tell some of my homies and homegirls, it's like, you know what I mean? I'm your friend, we're good friends, but, you know, I'm not always going to be there, you know, even if I wanted to, even if your friends wanted to, there's going to be a day that your friend is not going to be able to help you, you know, or if you're lucky enough to find a good friend. But, you know, the only friends, like my mom said, los únicos amigos que tienes son tus padres, you know what I mean? It's your parents. That's the only friends that you have, you know. And I know I'm kind of contradicting myself right there with the saying and what I was saying about you're not their friend. But as when it comes to trusting you and who's going to be there for your kids, the only people that are going to be there for you are your parents. It even doesn't matter what you do to them. So be careful out there. Be careful. I know I got a little deep. But these generations need to go back. And if they don't have a role model, look for a good role model. If you don't have a good role model, look for a good role model, man. And be careful also too with those that you see and think that they're role models, because also too we got a lot of evil people out there, and it's crazy. But to me, he's guilty. He cried at one of the concerts. That's part of the deceptiveness, right? Had a casket and held a funeral. This was insane right here. I saw that. I saw the casket. What was insane? It was the shirts, right? That they had blood. But what's crazier too, man? His whole following could have became a cult if it wasn't already a cult, or is, right? Because for you to be wearing, or you having your favorite singer, to have you wear those shirts with blood, that's insane, man. And that's insane. That's so be careful to the younger kids, man, younger generations. Be careful who you follow. David said he wanted to work hard for 4 years, then disappear off the grid to an island. His label wanted him to make the next big artist for his younger generation. I don't think the label will want him to just disappear out off the grid, man. When you're a label or a business, a company, and you have an investment, you're not just gonna want your investment to make an album or two and then disappear. No, they want to squeeze the juice, whatever they can. They want to get as much as they can out of you. Disabel said, so Celeste will have just been a huge obstacle. Boom. Where's the exactly? Now you guys are on it today. Selling the bloody t-shirts, like, bro, it's fucking weird. Now, Dilladank, let me ask you guys a question. Okay, let me ask you and everybody in the chat. Do you think that was blood? There's a lot of stuff that people are not talking about, right? Could have been blood. Maybe if you bought a shirt, let me know. Maybe you should go take that shirt to get for them to check it, man. If the DNA tested, because you never know. I'm telling you, man. Like Future said, right?
It's an evil world we live in.